Hey, what's happening? Happy Tuesday and Happy New Year. We are black. That is both a reference to my ethnicity and the state in which my house is at every night when I fall asleep because of the power cuts. Let's get right into it. Stage 6, baby. My name is Mpumalanga. It's Mzansi in 5. Let's start off with President Cyril Ramaphosa, who this week cancelled his trip to the World Economic Forum in Switzerland to address the current energy crisis in the country. The president had scheduled a virtual meeting with opposition party leaders, members of his own cabinet, as well as ESCOM. However, in an ironic twist, many opposition party leaders were unable to attend this virtual meeting because they were experiencing load shedding. Who would have thought that one of the things you need to attend a virtual meeting to discuss a national energy crisis is energy? And this is all happening on the backdrop of ESCOM announcing that the National Energy Regulator of South Africa had approved an 18.25% electricity price hike from the 1st of April this year. So in simple terms, South Africa experienced 205 days of load shedding in 2022, meaning that this public utility that we pay for, but only had access to for about 43% of the time in 2022, we now have the honor of paying an extra 20% for this in 2023. Vote ANC, baby. It's like how Cadbury chocolate slabs used to be 100 grams and cost 10 rands. And in less than 5 years, they decreased en masse, first to 90 grams, and now they're 85 grams for 17 rands. And I know that most of my analogies tend to be chocolate or Dragon Ball Z based, but that's because those are the things that mean the most to me in this world. And it's in this order. It's Jesus, Arsenal, chocolate, Dragon Ball Z. Oh yeah, and family. Moving on. An investigation into a massive matric exam cheating scandal involving teachers has confirmed that the results of hundreds of pupils in certain subjects in 26 Mpumalanga schools will be null and void. And what did that cost you?
Everything.
The unfortunate beat about this is that there's definitely going to be some innocent students who are going to get punished for the actions of teachers who chose corruption over their own kids. On the flip side of that though, if you were a matric pupil who decided to buy your exam paper last year for matric, then I have no sympathy for you. Especially in a country where the pass rate is 33%, all you need to matriculate, a 33% aggregate. And that's not the fault of the students. It's merely the Department of Education not wanting to take responsibility for their failure to properly educate and prepare the youth. Because what you're telling the kids is that you can go to school for 12 years and only know 33% of the sum total of the things that you were taught in those 12 years, and you should be fine in the world. Like, I wouldn't mind a pilot that only lands the plane 33% of the time. But like I said, if you did buy your matric paper and end up failing as a result, I like my Big Mac with no pickles, please. Moving on to Canada, where a woman is suing a bar for serving her alcohol that would later make her drive drunk and cause an explosion that cost multiple homeowners at least $10 million in damages. Daniela Lace, who was 24 at the time, was sentenced to 3 years in prison back in 2019 after she drove home drunk from a Marilyn Manson concert. You know, Marilyn Manson, the guy who likes to box with women, allegedly. Now, she ended up driving on the wrong side of the road and slammed into a house where she severed the gas pipes, which exploded and set off a chain reaction where 6 other houses were set alight. Now, Daniels is suing the food and beverage company that was serving drinks during the concert, claiming that they too bear some sort of responsibility for serving her alcohol, knowing that she would get drunk. How dare they serve alcohol to an adult woman and not think she's going to get drunk? She also claims that the company failed to check on her intended mode of transportation as she exited Budweiser Gardens, when they knew or ought to have known that she was intoxicated or appeared impaired. How freaking dare they not make sure that she gets home safely from Budweiser Gardens, which is an arena with a capacity of 9,100 people. It is obviously the job of the arena to make sure that all 9,000 people get Ubers home. The gall of these events. And finally, this isn't necessarily news. It's more of a closing remark. And people are dealing with a lot this year. You know, people are dealing with losses of income, inflation, the inability to feed their own families, your own personal anxieties, perhaps. And just to put things into perspective, I read this thing online a while ago, but it's been popping up a lot on my timelines, my timelines. And these are not my words. But just consider someone who was born in 1900. When they turn 14, the First World War starts. And it ends on their 18th birthday. 22 million people die. Later in the same year, the Spanish flu pandemic hits the planet and runs until they're 20. 50 million people die in 2 years. When they turn 29, the Great Depression begins. Unemployment hits 25%, global GDP drops 27%. That runs until they turn 33. The world economy nearly collapses. When they turn 39, the Second World War starts. Between their 39th and 45th birthday, 75 million people die. And the Holocaust kills 6 million people alone. At 52, the Korean War starts and 5 million people perish. Approaching their 62nd birthday, there's a Cuban Missile Crisis, which brings the world on the brink of nuclear war and nuclear extinction. And the purpose for all of that is to put things into perspective. Things are difficult for a lot of people right now. It's important to realize that the human race is very resilient. People before us and generations before us have lived through way worse. There's never been a better time to be alive. We have Netflix and HBO Max and Disney and Amazon. And my purpose is to be here every week to remind you that the world is on fire. But it's not that bad. Trust me. So take this journey with me on season 2. I'm excited. It's going to be fun. My name is Tuta Marengula. It's Mzansi in 5.